Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean, episode 17. So last time we saw the guard Westwood defeated, but the Fight Club shit is still going down, and there's supposedly more stand users here. I believe Poochie said there were 4, and I assume he's not counting Survivor. So we saw Westwood was one of them. So who are the other 3? Now, FF and Anasui are on their way as well. So I assume they're probably going to get there and help Jolene maybe with the next fight. But I think that this section could take a bit if we are gonna deal with 4 stand users. But who knows how this is gonna be handled. I'm not one who has read the manga, so I can't say in that regard. But I'm very interested to see what happens. So we're just going to get this started. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, our next battle is FF versus Kenzo. So, Anasui's not joining in just yet. Kenzo's stand is named Dragon's Dream, and let me see if I got this right. Is named after a song by Arkady Shilkloper. I assume I pronounced that right, but I don't know. If I mispronounced it, I apologize. But is also named after a company of the same name, Dragon's Dream, by Roger Dean, and a musical called Drake's Dream. So the stand actually has 3 namesakes that are all basically the same. Dragon's Dream seems to have multiple abilities, all dealing with feng shui, I think it's pronounced. Except is the drowning part of that? I guess. But it's a really, like, I don't fully get all of that. So, to be fair, I'm not exactly the most knowledgeable in regards to that. But the thing is, Kenzo, while in prison during all of these years, 40 years or so, practiced the art of this feng shui assassination technique. And his stand reflected that. It basically just helps him out. It's a neutral, automatic stand. It doesn't listen to him. He doesn't control it. It just acts. The only thing he seems to control is the water parts. And it's like, I don't know exactly how that's part of it. Because it seems to be very different than the rest. But the rest of it is like, the stand will tell exactly the right position to move in and the right position to attack in and stuff, dealing with, like, you know, the specific direction and positioning of feng shui and all. So he's able to basically get the perfect hits in, the perfect defense, the perfect dodging, all of that, making him nearly impossible to hit and nearly impossible to truly guard against. The only issue is because his stand is automatic, it kind of acts on its own and seems to have a mind of its own, to the point where because it's neutral, it's even kind of helping out FF by telling them exactly what's going on and everything, and allowing Anasui and Jolene to figure things out as well. However, there's also some really weird other stuff going on during this fight that I'm not sure if is part of his stand or not. We see some rats happen to trip the breaker to the cell, the automatic electronic cell doors. One of them crushes the head of a dude who was already taken out and bloated by Kenzo, and his glasses pop off and pierce through FF's face. Then we see some flies buzzing around near a already messed up fan above that was messed up by the meteors from Westwood. A bird comes in to try to, I guess, get the flies, ends up flying into the fan and being violently killed. But this causes the fan to break and a piece of it to boomerang off and scalp FF. And again, I assume FF's going to be fine, because of just what they are and their powers and all. Even though they're inside Atroy's body and everything, I feel they're going to be fine. Even if that is a pretty horrific image to end off on. Like, scalping is horrific in general, but like seeing that, it's like, Jesus. And it's like they tried to hide what happened at first, but it was so obvious what happened. Like, they tried to cleverly get around it by only showing like the lower parts of FF's head and everything, and just the blood spraying from above. But it's like, it's so obvious what happened. You didn't really need to hide that until the last shot. But we see there's another stand user who we just haven't seen act yet. I wonder if he's behind the animals. We saw him kind of take a back seat and just like step off to the side while Kenzo fights. So yeah, and we haven't seen anyone else that's still, around after the Fight Club stuff. So I assume the fourth stand user has to be whoever is controlling Survivor. Or, well, not controlling Survivor, but whoever has Survivor at the moment. Because no one's controlling Survivor. That's kind of the point. But who knows? Who knows? We'll see eventually. But this fight is definitely pretty insane. It's a pretty difficult fight to deal with. And it's going to be interesting to see how FF comes back from this. And I assume the next fight's going to be Anasui's. Because we've had Jolene, now we're having FF, so Anasui's got to be next. And it's going to be interesting to see more of how he uses Diver Down, especially in a fight. I assume he's probably going to fight the other guy we saw then. Kenzo's a really interesting character, too. We got his backstory in this. We found out that 40 years ago, he was a cult leader, which is fun. And that he was like, him and his cult were going to be confronted, so they decided to do a mass suicide, a very cultish thing to do. Except he kind of betrayed the rest of them. He put them under by drugging them and set the mansion ablaze. He was going to escape, I guess, but ended up getting hit by some of the falling rubble of the burning mansion, and luckily it ended up blocking him from the fire and the smoke, left him in really bad shape, but he did survive. And that's how he was the only survivor of the incident. But as such, he is guilty of murdering all those people. And, I mean, also being a fucking cult leader. which is just exceptionally terrible. But yeah, it's a really interesting backstory, and to see that this cult leader ended up becoming this feng shui tai chi martial artist who now has a dragon stand that complements his feng shui perfectly is insane. It's like, this dude does not need power. This dude has had a taste of power, and it was already fucking disgusting. So, yeah. Like, JoJo's not afraid to kill off characters. Let's kill off this fucker. He's lived a nice long life. Let's end it for him now. But I'm interested to see how this battle does end. Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see how FF is able to eventually defeat him. But we'll see. So, tell me what you thought of this episode down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.